All righty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I apologize for that. I'm sure that Rocky is already on the move, getting the new link out there. There's no doubt in my mind on that. Let me get back in this meeting so I can
Hello, and welcome to
rejoin
Cold
with
War Radio.
Jack.
If you are a guest, stand by and Hutch will bring you on directly. If you are a caller, please mute your microphone until you are called on. Thank you.
All right, Jack. So I'm back now that the power went
Hello.
off and came back on.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, it wasn't. Man, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize, and hopefully, I don't know if you're following it. Okay, people are coming back on, so that means I lost probably 2/3 of the audience, so only a half hour in. That sucks, but what are you gonna do, man? What are you gonna do? When the power goes out, it goes out, and it wasn't the grid. It was my place here, man. You ever have a loose fitting plug? I got a loose fitting plug I need to fix, and it's the one that powers this. And if you hit the cord, it goes out for a split second. But as soon as it goes out for a split second, the link to the show is cut.
Well, that takes 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Get
that's how
your
long it
good
took.
quality. Don't get it. No, I'm just saying, don't get one of them Chinese outlets.
No, I know.
And
It's multiple issues. It's structural too, the way that wall is. But I'm working on it. It's just I never the last time that happened, I thought it was a power failure, and it happened exactly the same just now, and I figured it out. And everybody's all ugging in the chat room, they're inundating them with commercials. I apologize for that. Cha-ching. No, just kidding.
That's how you like.
I'm just kidding. That's
Come
wrong.
on.
That's so
I know
wrong.
the end of the month is coming on, but damn.
I know, right? All right, let me get my show notes back up because I took everything down, man. I mean, it's brutal out here. It's brutal.
Yeah, we were talking about Hunter and his access and how they're even with his publicly known flaws. I mean, serious flaws. You would never you would never. He wouldn't even get into an interview for a clearance, a security clearance. I mean, they would look at that information and.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but I thought you were trying to fire some more things up. But yeah, they look at that and they said this guy's a liability. And then somebody in the background said, "But he's the son of number two. Actually, he's now son of number one." Oh, okay.
This is on national television. The president of the United States' son.
Yeah, I spent more time on my hands and knees picking through rugs, smoking anything that even remotely resembled crack cocaine. I probably smoked more Parmesan cheese than anyone that you know, I'm sure, Tracy.
The scumbag isn't even embarrassed, Jack. He's not even, I mean, he's talking to a correspondent on television, and he had to know that I was going to get that clip.
Insulated from reality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's like,
absolutely. That's what it is, too.
You don't shake the man's hand, but yeah, I will give him $2 million plus finder's fees if he hooks us up with some of our frozen Libyan assets.
You know what I was thinking of too? What an easy person to turn into a patsy. Not Hunter, Joe. He's an empty man. I mean, no matter what they do, he doesn't care. And that's what they're doing. They're Obama and Valerie Jarrett and King or Susan Rice. They're just dumping on this guy, John Kerry. And here's what
we're living through Weekend at Bernie's, but it's it's already going into the first year. So,
and the thing is that as this happens, there's irreparable harm going on to the country. And at some point, I just hope it's not too late when we finally realize we have to say stop. And 1 million people go down to Texas and push these bastards south.
Is there anything since Joe took office, as far as the nation, that has improved upon what President Trump left us?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
What has improved?
The House passed Pro-Abortion Women's Health Protection Act offers a caveat for its use of the terms woman and women in the legislation, asserting access to abortion is critical to the health of every person capable of becoming pregnant, including cisgender women, transgender men, non-binary individuals, those who identify with a different gender, and others. On Friday, the House passed the White House-backed bill which prevents, listen to this is some draconian stuff right here, which passed the White House-backed bill which prevents both the federal government and state governments from enacting or enforcing any law, rule, regulation, standard, or other provision having the force and effect of law that conflicts with any provision of the act. It passed 218 to 211, with all Republicans and one Democrat voting against it. So that's 7 votes it won by, and all other laws are obsolete now.
No, because it still has to go through the Senate, doesn't it?
That's true. I mean, if
and
it
the
passed.
Senate, I can't see the Senate passing that. There's no way. They're trying to put it to where the federal government rules and the states have no rights.
They're going to start a
put
civil
their
war
own
with
laws.
this, man. They really are.
And you know what this is directly put in.
Florida,
no
and
surprise.
Texas.
Yeah, Texas just passed that law, and there's other states that are using the Texas language for their law that they just passed.
Yeah,
it was basically a heartbeat law, and they're trying to run it through their state's legislature. So, you know, what the House, Nancy Pelosi, and then and then to add in the cisgender, transgender men, and all this crap, non-binary individuals, Barney Frank's milking goat.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
What the hell?
Yeah, I know it's nuts. It really is.
Come on.
That's the reason I got that. I mean, I don't even really care about it, but the part about the federal government ruling with an iron fist, and just the with everything going on, for these people to spend any time on something like this is just, I mean, it's a dereliction of duty. You know, the country's falling apart. The world's looking down on us. And we're worried about cisgenders or whatever the hell this madness is.
It's crazy.
I saw a thing on television. I think it was local. No, it was Tucker Carlson. And it was a guy that was that claimed to be a woman that walked through a woman's spa with his junk hanging out. And some lady came up and went off on the poor dude that was, I think he was a cisgender himself, some Oriental guy that was running the place, and went off, a black lady, went off on this guy. I mean, it was expletive deleted. That's not a woman. You didn't
what
see
happened
that
in California? California?
Yeah, I guess probably.
I know that it had happened in California. And what eventually happened was the guy who claims to be a girl so he can get in there was arrested, and that person who now identifies as a woman has a history of being
that's the one. That's the one.
A sexual deviant, flashing women and all this stuff.
Did you see the article, or did you just read that?
No, this happened a month ago, but
it's the same thing, though, because the guy
ago.
came on Tucker Carlson. He came on and graphically described what he did. And you could see Tucker Carlson was grimacing as he was doing this, because I guess he went on some old lady's porch and pleasured himself, and got
it's
caught.
Just, it goes to the period when Obama was in office, and all of a sudden there was gender-free, neutral bathrooms, or even in the schools. And you're talking high schools, and there where you would have a gender-neutral locker rooms.
Sick
and
stuff, man.
And you're like, this just opens it up for these sick sons of
Yeah.
bitches that want to prey on folks. You're just giving them a pass to do it, and
What
that's
about the
exactly what
convicts?
that person.
A convict gets to go to a woman's prison, man. You know, I mean, you got 20 years. You want to be with the thugs, or you want to be with the women thugs? You know, it's something else.
We've gone from a nation of morals, and even if you go back before our generation, they would call, I guess, that maybe they were a little bit too strict because they were called prudish, right? There's no
The
freedom
Puritans.
to, there was no freedom to explore or whatever. We've gone to the point now. They got these trannies reading elementary kids
In the
school
library,
books,
in the public library.
telling elementary kids that they can decide what their sexual preference is. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not what elementary school's for. And elementary schools is to give the kids an education, let them know how to use pen and paper to write, learn how to read, learn the basics, learn how to add and subtract and divide and whatever. And that gives them the foundation to become their individual self, the best one that they can be when they're an adult.
And
it
not
has
only
nothing
that,
to do with that.
not only that, there was a collective effort in the public schools. I remember because we had a PT test that we had to do every year, and it was from John Kennedy. It was the Presidential Physical Fitness Test or something like that.
Yes.
It was all about protecting the country and making the country better. That's why we pledged allegiance to the flag. You know, that's why we learned about our history. These people here, they freaking hate their own country, Jack. I mean, we got to identify that. We can't, it's not going to help us anymore just to sit here and identify the problem. We know what the problems are. We know the schools are cesspools. So what are we going to do about it? You know, and you hear people say, well, you have to get in there and deal with it locally. Well, all right, that's good and that's true. But there also has to be some universal stuff that happens. And I think one of them, I think it's about time that we start busting these unions. I mean, I think that's the biggest problem right now. When you have a communist organization running the school, what do you think's going to happen? And you look at if you look at the origin of unions, it's purely communist. It's at least in the United States it is.
In the original formation of some of the unions, they were necessary for the workers, right?
I agree with that.
But we have so many labor laws in place now that protect the workers. The unions are not necessary, right?
And they've changed. They've changed to political entities.
They've gone from being the blue collar, dirty fingernail, hard-working, calloused hands folks to the crack crab and champagne 3-piece suit SOBs that hang out in DC,
and
restaurants
people
during the day.
I mean, it's not all upper crust. They do some bad things, especially in the bigger militant unions like coal and steel.
You got your muscle,
Yeah.
but then you got the top tier guys. They're the ones
True.
that hang out in the lobby of DC,
And those were the guys that were the muscle. That's how they got there. So
But now
that's
it's,
always something to remember.
Yeah, and then you talk about that a lot, which I never thought about until listening to you, was the federal employees unions, which there shouldn't be one at all, right?
Right.
Folks that are already, working for and getting paid by the taxpayers as a government job or civil servant thing, for them to unionize. I mean, the thing that I recall the most, where the president stood up against what was wrong to begin with, was when Reagan basically fired all the air traffic controllers. So
That
you
was
can kick
excellent.
your ass.
That was beautiful.
And that's
Right?
exactly what was needed, right?
Yeah. Oh, no doubt about it. As a matter of fact, I almost got a job over that, because what he did was Pittsburgh was really hurting at that time. And he came and hired 300 air traffic controllers from Pittsburgh. And I went to one of the seminars because I was thinking about doing it, and I go in there and I what it was a company that was giving a class. If you accepted what this guy was saying, that you'd go to this class and it would teach you how to pass the test to become an air traffic controller. But this guy, first of all, he had the most cherry red whiskey nose I ever saw in my life. This guy was an alcoholic for days, and they only have to work 15 years to retire. I mean, it's a really stressful job.
Big time stressful.
And
big time stressful.
They're showing all this, telling us all about it. Now, this is the 80s, so the screen is different than they are now.
Yeah.
But it's showing this screen. And
instead of everything being crystal clear right now,
it's like watching
it was foggy all the
TV.
time, right?
Yeah, your black and white TV.
Blip.
Yeah. And it's this screen, and there's 4 different levels of airports, and it showed the level 1 airport, which is like LaGuardia or Johnstown, Bertha Airport. But I mean, like the real big ones. And it's going around, and all these blips are on there. And the guy's like, all right, this is right at the end of the presentation, close to the end. He said, if anybody doesn't think that they could stand in front of this monitor and any of those dots on that screen, none of them are allowed to hit each other or 300 people die instantly, you might as well just get up and get out. And Hutch got up and got the hell out. I said, I can't do that. I was the only one, too. I said, no, there ain't no damn way I can do that. You know what I mean? I just couldn't do it.
There's a John Cusack movie, I believe it's called Pushing 10, which is a movie where the lead character and the majority of it is sitting there in an air traffic control, I think in like a New York or Chicago, where you've got, I mean, it's just stressful as hell. Yeah. And it kind of, you got that feeling of how stressful it was from that movie. So if you haven't seen it, you can probably check it out.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a little bit of an adjustment on an earlier report. The Cook Political Report now revises the Virginia governor's race to toss-up. Youngkin seems to have the enthusiasm on his side. You think? You think Americans are tired of being smoked? I think so. I think the biggest mistake that the Democrats could make for the United States of America to continue to be a peaceful country is to steal this election. You steal another one, and I don't know what the people are going to do. Hell, I don't know what I'll do. I was listening to the show earlier when you had said that, the polls saying that McAuliffe's up by 4 or 5 points. And then the day after I looked and I saw an article or a poll from, and I hate polls. I do too. And I should know
Mary
better.
Washington,
we should all know better, but there's nothing else to go on.
The only thing I know is that it's a hell of a lot closer, and the Democrats are nervous because of the fact that the poll that I watched was the Mary Washington poll out of the University of Mary Washington in Fredericksburg. They said of likely voters, Youngkin had a 5-point lead. Overall, if you just took the entirety of the poll, McAuliffe had a 4-point lead. So it's that skewed. But when you sit there and say likely voters, that has people nervous.
That's usually the one that works, right? Is the likely voter.
Yeah. Well, I don't take any trust in anything, but for you to bring that up again today, and this is a different poll, that tells me that McAuliffe's team, the Democrats, the machine is on alert because
they should be.
We're still a month and a half away. So for them right now, they're basically trying to get their folks up. They're saying, no, we don't have this one. We need to make it look like we're way behind, because every single commercial that I've seen from Terry McAuliffe, is only thing they're doing is saying they put Trump up there saying something, and then Youngkin saying something, or Youngkin is just nobody but Trump's this or that. That's
you wouldn't think that would be a good thing after the election results, the real ones. They know that the Democrats know what the real results were. You wouldn't think that would be a winning
yeah.
thing. I mean, you would think that would
I
be a
haven't
loser if that many people voted for Trump.
I don't know if there's any debates. Maybe Ken or Regina from Richmond has heard anything. I haven't heard anything. But knowing the television stations in Virginia, Richmond and Norfolk, Virginia Beach, and then you got Northern Virginia, that's all covered by Washington, D.C. television. It's very hard for somebody outside of the machine to get airtime, even a televised debate, so.
But I mean, the majority of Virginia is pretty conservative. I mean, I used to love going down there. At first, I didn't like it, but then after I got a little rank, man, I liked going down to Fort Pickett, down in Blackstone, and I'd usually drive down, past Civil War battlefields, the wilderness.
That's what I drive from up there, where you're at. You go 81 straight on down, and then
when I lived over in Central PA, yeah, I went down to 11 and 15, and then I can't remember whether it was 15 or 11. I think it was 15, whichever one goes through Culpeper.
1529 goes down there. There's just a lot. It's beautiful.
Oh, it is.
Drive,
and it's historic, man. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen down there. So I want to play a clip of our favorite show here at Cold War Radio, The View. And I'm going to just let the clip play, and then we'll talk about what happened after the clip.
There seems to be something happening here that I'm not 100% aware of. Can someone please apprise me of the situation?
I need the two of you to step off for a second.
Okay. Anna and
we're going to bring
Sonny
you back later.
have to leave.
Yeah. Yes.
And we'll tell you why.
More information later. It's a tease.
We'll tell you why in a couple of minutes. So shall I introduce the Vice President?
Yes.
Okay. So, Vice President, no.
Nope.
Okay. Shall we dance? Let's do a tap dance.
Let's do a tap dance.
All right. What?
Let's do a short commercial and we'll come back.
Talk about what?
What else can we talk about for Hot Topic?
Okay. Oh. As we always do in television when we're in a tight spot, we'll be right back.
Been there, done that. So this is a trip, man. The president, the vice president, Carmela Harris, whatever her name is, Horizontal Harris, is showing up on The View. So what they did, Jack, was they gave them all a COVID test on the air. And Sonny Houston and Ann Navarro came in positive for COVID. And they made them unask the stage. Right? So and I don't know if Kamala Harris ever came. I think she did, because she talked about how the
it was
Border Patrol's all racist and whatnot.
She didn't come onto the set like she was supposed to.
Didn't she? Okay.
They had her like in her own isolated Who Wants to Be a Millionaire booth.
I'd be scared of her. You imagine the stuff that's crawling around in her nasty body.
But wait. I thought they were all vaccinated.
They were.
There's no way.
100% vaccinated. That's the only people that get the shit now.
1,000% vaccinated.
Unbelievable. I got some bad news, ladies and gentlemen. Some bad news. It's going to affect some of you. The Biden administration, it's going to affect my wife too. The Biden administration today, well, it says will announce. I'm going to guess they did. Will announce a new coronavirus vaccine mandate telling millions of federal contractors that they must receive an inoculation by December 8th, according to documents reviewed by Reuters. The news outlet also said the administration will draw up clauses for would-be government contracts requiring the vaccine. Is this going to go on forever? I mean, this is something that is so off the wall. This is, to me, what this does, and especially now that it's gone on for so long. To me, it says, the American people, we know that you're stupid. We understand you're stupid, and anything we say, half of you are going to believe it. So we're just going to keep doing this. But all these people, all these slugs that they're bringing into the country, none of them have to do it. You know, it's just so bass-ackwards that I don't see Americans continuing to comply with this much longer, man. I mean, God, I pray that we don't.
I don't think they will, and I think what they're doing is throwing everything they can at the wall and to see what sticks. Because from the day that Biden announced, now the military is a totally different thing, you know, from which we can discuss later. But as far
let's discuss it right now. Let's discuss it right now while it's hot, because you know I have very good friends that are still in the military, and they are freaking furious, man. And that's not a good thing, man. To have these brilliant guys furious, man, you better watch out and see what's going to happen here.
Right.
This might not be good, man. They're going to steal everything that moves.
I went to military.com and I just saw that the Army had just put out their mandate.
Yeah, last Wednesday.
Version, and the Air Force has theirs, Navy has theirs. So the Army is the latest, the last ones in line, and then the National Guard of the Army and the Army Reserve have until middle of next year. But I read in there how they're going about this.
No, my buddy called me up. He's in the Army Reserve, and he told me if he didn't get the inoculation by last Wednesday, he was not only kicked out on a medical refusal, but lost all retirement benefits. He was 22 years in, CW4. Two combat deployments.
If he's considered the leadership aspect, which is another thing.
Okay.
When I read it from military, the leaders, we're talking the I guess the E5s maybe or E6s and below. Yeah. They have this leeway. They're talking about the leadership, which would be the E7s above,
right?
Officers and above. They don't have no choice. They will be chaptered out for disobeying a direct order, basically.
Damn,
is what they're trying to pull. Yeah, which is a black mark.
It's bullshit, though. It's going to get reversed. All this stuff's going to get reversed. That's the shame of it. That's the real shame of it.
Did you hear what the Biden administration said about? I mean, a member of the House put a bill up there, basically saying anyone in the military that chooses not to take this emergency use authorization vaccine must be given an honorable discharge.
Okay, that's good.
The Biden administration said, hell no.
Of course not.
Because
they're communists. They're communists. That's from China, man. That's China all day.
It's a complete. They say, well, they have to take this. They have to take that. Well, you signed up and you knew this, and plus, all those inoculations pretty much are already approved and long.
And they're real diseases.
Long-lived, proven. Effective vaccinations,
and against something that's vicious, not something like this that has a mortality rate of less than 1%. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, I know people, very few people that have been affected by this, but I also know a whole bunch of people that got hit by cars and that got shot. I mean, this happens. But it's not on the scale to where you have to, first of all, forcing somebody to inject something into their body that they don't want to inject is the demise of our country. That's the end of America. And these young people don't even know. They have no idea. They have no idea that Milley telling that to the Chinese is the worst constitutional offense in my lifetime. There's nothing worse in my life than Milley doing that. I mean, name me something.
Look at the even if you just look at the news reports on who are the most at risk from perishing from the COVID-19
obese
virus. It is, they have comorbidities. Well, the United States military has physical fitness standards. And that
except for the generals, I mean, look at Milley. Look at his fat ass jelly roll.
well, they got to take the vax. But what I'm saying is the folks, the general folks that are out there, the fighting men and women that are in our United States military forces, are not
at least
the highest.
At least in the ground forces.
Well, let's
Sorry,
not
I
get
had
into
to.
that. You know?
I had to do
Well,
that.
yeah. I couldn't remember. Rocky asked me in the chat room the other night. He's like, "What was it that Hutt said about the Marines?" And I couldn't remember. But he wanted to, so he hasn't gotten mad at you yet.
Oh, he can get mad at me all day. I'll make some fun of some Marines.
But what I'm saying,
Marines...
does it make sense? Why are you going to force 100 or million plus active reserve guard folks that are volunteered to defend this country who are not at high risk of perishing from COVID? Why are you going to mandate them to get the vaccine? Why?
Because if you don't, then you can't mandate the rest of the people to get it.
Right. So the military, I can see that's a whole nother issue. But as far as the federal workers, now the federal contractors, now you're going into where you're going to see this go right up to the Supreme Court, and it's going to be expedited because you're putting dates, arbitrary dates on this, saying if you don't get it by then, you're out.
And just prove to me, tell me why. Why would anybody get this now? Now, I could see early on when everybody was terrified of it, and they dangled this thing out in front of you, people rushed to go get this thing. I remember seeing a Jewish center in a Jewish neighborhood in Pittsburgh, and there were elderly people lined up at this center for 6 blocks, man. I mean, it looked like, no, I'm not going to say that.
It was the highest risk group, though, right? The elderly,
and terrified. I mean, the media, these are the people that watch the networks.
And what happened last year? They got shoved into nursing homes, the sick, and boom, and you had the mass casualties. And then, it's excused, like especially New York, Michigan,
and Pennsylvania.
Yes,
Pennsylvania. The trans-testicle director of health took his mother, out of the old folks' home before they started.
Before they,
she should go to prison for that. He should go to a male prison for that.
It was last week when I looked at, it was the government's website on the percentage of vaccinated people in the United States was 55%. And right there I said, oh, that's why they're trying to mandate this, because if you got 55 vaccinated, it means you got 45, which is the quote unquote.
And I think that 55 is high, don't you?
Yeah. I don't, but now they're trying to get the kids and all that stuff. But if you have 45%, it only took 3% before to take this country and produce the United States of America.
That's right.
From England. We got 45%.
The strongest army in the world, and we didn't even have a navy at the time. So, hell, we didn't even have boots at the time.
It's a heavy push, and it's a heavy hand of the government. We've seen it before. You get frustrated because every day it's worse. I mean, you sit there and they sit there and take Border Patrol on horses. Why are they on horses? Because maybe it's some rough terrain out there on the border in certain areas, and the horse.
And they've been there forever. This is something. I was going to be when I got out of active duty. I applied for a couple jobs. I applied for an Army job at the ECS, the equivalent of your Utes, I think, or wherever you keep the equipment and then you draw it out of there, CSMS or Utes, whatever that's called. But ours was an ECS, and the Border Patrol. And I got accepted for both of them at the same time. But one of the requirements of the Border Patrol was riding a horse. It was riding a horse. It was riding a four-wheeler. It was being a passenger on a helicopter and being on overnight listening posts and things like that. So it's nothing new. And that was all ridiculous. But ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Cold War Radio from the Kinzua Country studio with Jack and Hutch Bailey Jr. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
One America News Network, your leading source for the latest breaking national and international news. With nearly 4 times as many headlines as the other networks. Straight news, no speculation, no opinion, just the facts. Complete coverage 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. One America News Network, your source for credible news.
I brought up the subject of what's going to happen after we take over the government. We become responsible then for administrating, 250 million people. And there was no answers. No one had given any thought to economics. How are you going to clothe and feed these people? The only thing that I could get was that they expected that the Cubans and the North Vietnamese and the Chinese and the Russians would all want to occupy different portions of the United States. They also believed that their immediate responsibility would be to protect against what they called the counter-revolution. And they felt that this counter-revolution could best be guarded against by creating and establishing re-education centers in the Southwest, where we would take all the people who needed to be re-educated into the new way of thinking and teach them how things were going to be. I ask, well, what is going to happen to those people that we can't re-educate, that are die-hard capitalists? And the reply was that they'd have to be eliminated. And when I pursued this further, they estimated that they would have to eliminate 25 million people in these re-education centers. And when I say eliminate, I mean kill. 25 million people. Now, I want you to imagine sitting in a room with 25 people, most of which have graduate degrees from Columbia and other well-known educational centers, and hear them figuring out the logistics for the elimination of 25 million people. And they were dead serious.
A representative republic, not a democracy. Cold War Radio celebrates and defends this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm Hutch Bailey Jr., your host. Ward, Sal, and Jack are my wingmen, and your live calls let it all make sense. Join us, Cold War Radio, live on Spreaker and forever on all podcast platforms.
Oh, hi. I'm 2-time Saturn Award nominee Kevin Bacon, and I would like to talk to you about 80s awareness. Awareness of 80s culture and technology has been in a significant decline, especially amongst a certain demographic. I'm talking to you, millennials. All you guys born after 1985 have no idea how hard life was. If I was too shy to ask a girl out, there was no OK Twinder. I went to the white pages, Google it, and called her house. And then you had to make small talk with her mom for like 20 minutes before Alicia even came to the phone. And let me tell you, when she turns down your invitation to Sparrows, you can't just swipe away the hurt. You want to know my favorite app? Rubik's Cube. I saw you tweet an article about Russia. You think Russia's a threat now? Let me tell you about a little thing called the Cold War. They had nukes pointed at us for 20 years. You couldn't even skateboard to a Blockbuster without getting nuked. My friend Tommy went out to rent a copy of Gremlins and never came back. You know why? Nuked. At least that's what my parents told me. Hey, I'm trying to make a point here. What, you guys can't pay attention for more than 2 minutes? Oh, get it, I've had it. Can somebody take this mic, please? You people will never know the comfort of parachute pants. You couldn't even skateboard to a Blockbuster.
Damn, that was like a 20-second fade out, man. Holy smokes, I got to remember that. Anyway, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We'll open the phones in just a minute here. Don't panic, ladies and gentlemen. Del Rio, Texas, Jack. Last night, or 2 nights ago, maybe 3, there was 15,000 invasion forces poised there. Border Patrol officials cleared the last remaining migrants on Friday from the infamous camp under the Del Rio International Bridge. At one point earlier this week, the Biden administration detained as many as 15,000, mostly Haitian migrants, in squalid. They didn't contain or detain them. Anyway, in squalid conditions under the bridge. Since then, officials moved the migrants to other detention. Here's their explanation: to other detention facilities, to Haiti on Title 42 repatriation flights, allowed some to self-deport to Mexico, or released some into the United States with notices to report to an immigration office for expedited removal hearings. How about 14,999 is what some is? What a bunch of bullshit, man. I mean,
Yeah.
and these are people, you know, I saw an article about Al Sharpton complaining about our treatment of Haitian refugees. Now, first of all, Haiti is the perfect example of why Democrat leftist governance doesn't work. If you know anything about geography, you know that the landmass that Haiti is half of, the other half is the Dominican Republic. And I know that because half of the Pittsburgh Pirates came from the Dominican Republic when I was a kid. And we had an extensive training camp down there. Half the country, I mean, it's not fluent like Beverly Hills, but it's nothing like Haiti. You know, and it's because of the government. It's the same exact everything. Same natural resources, same people, just 2 different countries. And now they're all here, and it's our fault, I guess. And
Yeah, well,
it's racism, man. That's all. I mean, what else could it be?
that's what they're trying. That's what they're trying to portray.
I know it.
You have folks trying to say, "Oh, it's the black people of Haiti," and the
I mean, who does Al
Biden likes
Sharpton
the
think
brown
it's going to hurt the
people.
most? Who's it going to hurt the most, Al?
He
It's going to
went
hurt
down
black
tried to-
Americans.
He went down to Texas and was trying to pull his, on the scene racist card, which, he's the hustler.
That's all he's got.
as
That's all he's
hustlers.
got.
But he was shouted down. He couldn't get a moment's peace
I did
because
read that.
the citizens of Texas wouldn't allow him because they knew
He's a
what he
skank.
was trying to do.
He's a I can't believe he's still alive, man. I mean, you live a life like that and you're still alive. You remember him back in the day? He was like 600 pounds, man. With that big hair and wearing those running suits and stuff.
Hey, you have statues of a man, George Floyd, that
Okay.
are popping up.
Really?
Murals. I mean, he's going to be like, after I'm passed, he's going to be like
He'll be like Nelson Mandela.
legendary hero.
He'll be
So,
like Nelson
that's-
Mandela. You know what I mean? A freaking cold-blooded communist that freaking everybody worships. It's nuts.
And and if you they always talk about leaving the plantation, right? The Democratic plantation. I mean, we've heard the words of Malcolm X, and I'm sure that most people, if they listen to most of the beliefs and the feelings of what Malcolm X believed, he changed a little bit at the end. But when he was speaking about how the black folks in the United States were being misled by a political party, he was spot on.
He was. And what he did was he went to Mecca.
Democrat Party.
He went to Mecca. And when he came back from that experience, he started telling, what was the guy's name? Elijah Muhammad was the head of the Nation of Islam and was the head of Malcolm X. And he started explaining that, no, we got to do this, and this. And the phony-ass Nation of Islam wasn't having it, and they whacked him with a 12-gauge, man. They took him right out.
When he went there, because like, you've said on different shows, you have folks, Muslims, that are as white as the day is long.
They're the worst.
Right?
Those are the worst ones. The Chechens.
You were saying redheaded, and
right.
So when he went to Mecca,
scary son of bitches right there.
He saw every color of skin on the face of the earth that was worshiping Islam.
And what he should do,
he's like, wait a minute, it's not just black on white,
right?
It is more than that.
And he probably got with some leaders and realized how damn racist against blacks Muslims are. I mean, you can see, where do you think our slaves came from? You know what I mean? They still take slaves, black African slaves, into Saudi Arabia and other countries. Look at what's happening in the Congo. I mean, this is like I was saying about the Haitians and Al Sharpton. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a black American and you think that Al Sharpton's trying to help you, if you bring in refugees, first of all, let's admit something, and let's say that a large percentage of the workforce of black Americans is labor because of whatever decisions they made in their lives during their educational experience. A lot of them are not electrical engineers. It just is what it is. And when you have an influx of all these third world freaking peasants, who's going to get hurt the most, Jack? It's going to be the Americans that have the jobs using labor. I hate to use the word unskilled, but the lower skilled positions.
That's when you get back and you circle back, as your girl likes to say, back to education. The education system in the United States used to be one of the best in the world. I don't think if you check the statistics over the last 20 plus years that it fares very well. But if you look at it from a position of power and control, it is doing exactly what those people want it to do. They want people that aren't smart enough to figure stuff out for themselves. When I went to school, you didn't have any electronic devices. You didn't have no calculators.
Had a number two pencil.
You had a pencil, a pen for certain classes, and heaven forbid you get caught with a cheat sheet or something. And what the hell do you think a smartphone is? A smartphone is every answer to every freaking test that you could have.
Yeah.
Every single one of those
I never thought about that. I never thought about that. I bet, and that's probably one of the problems with the officer corps in the military.
I mean, sure, maybe what are they going to do? Maybe do what do they call it? Faraday cage around this classroom during test days.
Hey.
Oh, no, I'm jamming. They're jamming me, man.
You couldn't take a cell phone into the jock, man. We had a thing that looked like the pigeonhole thing for the mail. And everybody, you put your phone in there, you couldn't take the phone inside.
The top secret area, you couldn't. That was all. You had a little locker thing. Boom, you didn't take it in or out of there.
Little payback going on at CNN. Chris Cuomo has admitted to groping a woman while working at ABC News in an essay published Friday in the far-left New York Times. Shocking. Shelley Ross. This is rich kids, man. This is rich, spoiled pricks. That's all he is. That's all his brother is. They're spoiled freaking kids. In an essay published, Shelley Ross, a former executive producer at ABC and CBS, tells the whole grisly story about how at a 2005 work gathering, Fredo walked toward me and greeted me with a strong bear hug while lowering one hand to firmly grab and squeeze the cheek of my buttock. It's the first time I've ever seen that in a singular conjugation.
Singularity of the buttock.
I can do this now that you're no longer my boss, he said to me with a kind of cocky arrogance. No, you can't, I said, pushing him off me at the chest while stepping back, revealing my husband, who had seen the entire episode at close range. We quickly left. What a scumbag, man. I mean, really.
That's all they did was left. What did her husband do? He did something.
I mean, he was probably, intimidated.
He's a very powerful man, that Cuomo kid. Yeah. Let's get the hell out of here.
Hey, let's go to Vern in New Jersey. What's going on, Vern? How you doing tonight?
Gentlemen, how are you this evening?
Outstanding.
Great. Just a couple of quick points. First of all, about that Cuomo story that came out.
Yeah.
Jack, I'm with you. What was the husband doing during all this?
Yeah. I mean, he's going to sit there and let the man grab his wife's buttock.
Well, probably. I mean, who marries a producer at ABC and CBS? He's probably a femme.
Well, maybe so.
That's
if that happens in the real world, somebody's leaving with a broken face.
Right.
That's all there is to that. Hutch, you hit it square in the center when you started talking about Al Sharpton.
Oh, I know.
This guy, this guy's been a hustler for years, and this guy has made more money off the black community, he and Jesse Jackson, than I don't know what.
I think, have you seen Jesse Jackson lately? I think he's got the Biden syndrome, man. He's not doing too good.
Well, Jesse sort of went underground after he had that love child. So he's sort of been low key.
His son got run out of Congress too,
and went to federal prison.
The last I heard on Jesse Jackson, he was tested positive for COVID. That's the last I heard. I haven't heard anything since.
So what are you saying? He's no longer with us?
No, I think he's still around, but I haven't.
He's still around, but he's had a low profile for several years now.
Yeah, he has. He's getting up in age. I mean, the guy was on the scene at Martin Luther King's assassination site. I mean, he was a man then. So
yeah, I met him once years and years and years ago.
Did you? Good.
When he was running for president, I guess it was in 80 or 84.
Oh, he ran several times, man. He had about the same.
Right?
He had about the same percentage of votes that Biden used to get, about 1 or 2%.
Yep, absolutely.
And then that jumps to 82 million, and we're all supposed to believe it. But yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. And about this whole Haitian thing, first of all, you were spot on when you mentioned the demographic between the Dominican Republic and Haiti.
Right.
With all of that corruption, thank you, Clinton Foundation.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
One of the things now that nobody's asking the question, how are those people getting over there? Because you can't walk.
I know. Somebody's bankrolling
it. Somebody's footing that bill, getting those people over to Mexico to come up to the border. There is no doubt in my mind.
And they all gathered at the same underpass. 15,000 of them.
At the same time.
Yeah. It's a miracle.
Somebody's bankrolling that deal.
And when you think about it, it's like, how can you figure out what's going on when it's something this complex and this big? I mean, moving 15,000 people that far would really take a pretty big bank account. I mean, it's something that it has to be I don't know. Maybe it's something like Trump was talking about it. It might have been something like this. I don't know. It could be.
那么朋友们啊，我感觉这个产品非常好，因为它对中老年人是特别需要的。因为
Let's say China.
整个中国还有很多国家。
China.
Damn, I missed that man,
I agree.
Vern.
I do too, but I agree with him. There are forces back there. I firmly believe that everything that is happening now, there are some people sitting at a round table pulling all the strings.
I agree.
And you mentioned some of them the other day on the show. And by the way, you look good on TV, Hutch. I didn't know you looked that good.
That? Did you see that? I was going to mention
I saw that.
I was going to mention. I kind of went off on there a little bit.
You did. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I'm glad. Thank you.
But there are people that are sitting at a round table, oak table somewhere, the Valerie Jarrett, the Susan Rices of the world, who are pulling the strings on all of this stuff that's going on.
And they all, the singular thing that they have in common, they all hate you, Vern. And they hate me. And they hate our country. They hate our military. They hate our success. And especially they hate the middle class.
They do.
They hate the fact
they do. And that's why
that
they
somebody like us.
They want to control it.
That's right. And you look at everything they do. They try to make our engines smaller. They try to make it harder for us to get gasoline. They try to do all this stuff because you know what? My truck is my freedom. If I have my truck, I can tear your house down with my truck. I got a 10,000-pound winch on the front of my truck. I'll pull your truck out. You know, and they hate that. They hate the fact that a regular guy that goes out to work every day has that much freedom and that much power. And I hate them back.
Because they want everyone the same because it will be easier to control everybody.
That's right. Get on the damn bus.
They will control the flow of resources and everything else. And like you said with this COVID thing, you asked the question, how long is this going to go on? It's going to go on forever.
Till we stop it. That's my main lesson, man. My main, not lesson.
Well,
that makes me sound like I'm talking to a classroom. That's not what I meant. My message to everybody is that we're moving across a warp. We're moving into another phase. You know, we all thought that by exercising our constitutional privileges or whatever, that are rights, that we voted and we are going to change it that way, and they have embedded themselves criminally in the Democrat Party into all these shithole cities, Allegheny County, my own, and you got these people that are scumbags if you talk to them. I mean, they're not somebody you'd like to hang around with. These people are they're like the lady with the Obama phone. Remember that? Those are the people that are working in the county election places. The Obama phone lady. And it's sickening that we have to deal with this, but at some point we're going to have to realize that now, and I'm giving ourselves an out here. Let's see what happens in 2022. But that's a year and a couple months away. It's a year and a couple months away. But when that happens, that's going to let us know if we're going to be able to do this the normal way we usually do this, because everything else that's going on right now is not normal. This shit with Millie, I'm telling you, I can't believe more people aren't furious about that. I mean, that to me... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, there should be an uprising, just because of him, there should be an uprising that's just unbelievable, what this guy just did. What this guy just did, basically, you know what he did? He sold out, told everybody he sold out.
Yep, he did.
And everybody, the media's covering for him. Well, you know, I heard some of those pundits on there say, well, you know, it's standard practice to be talking to your enemy and this, that, and the other thing.
What, and here's the thing, just to make sure everybody doesn't get thrown off on this. Forget everything else that they reported about Mark Milley except for one thing. Don't worry about that he said that don't, listen to any orders unless you hear from me first. That's normal. That is normal. But the one thing, the only thing you need to be focused on with that traitorous bastard is that he called the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the People's Republic of China, a member of the Chinese Communist Party, and told him, if we attack you, I'll give you a heads up. His head needs to roll. It needs to come off of his shoulders.
Even the apologist, the former chief of staff, said,
Mullen,
if that part is true, then we've got a problem.
We got a problem.
Absolutely.
And what you're saying, Vern, people outraged. The majority of the people in the United States are outraged with what Milley did, but it's clamped down. The social media, the mainstream media,
being suppressed.
They are trying to make it out as nothing to see here, which we know is false, because the key one is the January 6th with the interim Secretary of Defense, who it's Christopher Miller, I believe, that Trump appointed, and he said flat out, I did not authorize any communication between Milley and a Chinese military leader on the 6th.
Now that's what I'm trying to make sure that we don't get wrapped around the axle, because again, they came out with like a 3-prong accusation or observation of Woodward's book. And you can weed that out. Him talking, our commanders talking, he's not even a commander, by the way. Our military leaders talking to other military leaders is all right. But it's if we attack you, I'm going to give you a heads up.
Yeah.
That's not all right. That's death. That is, you are going to die for doing that. And nobody cares about it.
You're right.
He should not hold the office.
No, he should not live.
Has right now.
He should not live. That is a capital offense.
Courts martial should be underway.
Sure. Think of how, or a military tribunal, or think of how many people that put at risk.
Everyone.
Yeah.
The entire military service and the entire nation of civilians.
Sure.
So
it's unreal. All right, Vern, your final comments, sir?
Well, like you said, 2022 is going to be, I think that's going to be the watermark moment.
I pray
for us.
I pray it works out for us, because the alternative
either
sucks.
Either we get it back, or it's going to be a dark, cold winter for a while.
Yeah, we can't sit here. We can't sit here and just take it. We can't just take it. It's scary.
I'm holding out hope.
Me too.
I'm holding out hope that there, in fact, is a silent majority.
Me too.
And people are just slowly, their tanks are getting full, and they're going to say, you know what, we've had it.
I hope so, because we had a silent majority already. It wasn't even silent, and they stole it off us anyway.
Well, see, here's the thing:
82 million votes.
They can't do that again. They can't do that again. If that happens again, you know what? I hate to say it, but there's going to be chaos.
I hope
there's going to be chaos. Whoever runs in 24, and I hope to God that it is Trump. To be honest with you.
Me too.
If he gets 90 million votes, and whoever the Democrats put up gets 100 million, you know what?
Start lighting shit on fire.
I think if you want Donald Trump to run in 2024, your ass better be out there in 2022 taking back America.
Yeah,
by electing a House and a Senate
and changing the leadership in the House and Senate.
Yes,
these people are not the right people, man. Kevin McCarthy and freaking Chinese Mitch McConnell are not the people.
Right. They are not true conservatives. They are in bed. They're in bed with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer
and Xi Jinping.
And that whole fault.
Damn skinny.
And Xi Jinping and Wang Fang or whatever her name is.
Fang. All right, man. Fern, thanks for calling. Always appreciate
All right,
it.
take it easy, gentlemen.
Have a great weekend, my man.
Vern
You too,
always
sir.
All right.
coming
So-
with the truth.
Yeah,
But
I know.
I
I
don't
love
see
it.
Trump. If Trump's like us, we want to see something happening next year, because if we don't make a difference in who is representing us in Congress and the Senate next year, why would Trump even run? Why?
That's a good
Why
point.
would
And
he
he's got his neck out there. I mean, he's endorsing
He
certain
can't
candidates.
do it by himself. Yeah.
No, he can't.
He's out. Yeah,
he
he's
realized
out
that
there
after his first term. He realized that, and
Yeah.
you see where he's concentrating. He's not concentrating as much on Democrat versus Republican. He's concentrating on Republican primaries because he knows how toxic the Republican Party is, and it is. Let's go to Eugene, Oregon. We'll welcome Marlene to the program, but stand by because I have a clip of somebody you haven't heard of for a while, and you can tell the quality of the Republican Party and the Republican spokesmen that are losers like this one, because they always go to MSNBC or ABC's The View. We're back to The View, and let's listen to Carly Fiorina. Remember her?
And on over the weekend. So Saturday's so-called Justice for J6 rally had more police and press than protesters. And it's a reminder of the identity crisis, I think, that the GOP may be having now. Officials like Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger want to move the party away from you-know-who, and others are still sticking with him. And some say they're not going to run for re-election because the party's become too toxic. So, Carly, you ran as a Republican in 2016. Do you even recognize the party now?
It's very sad, honestly. Way back in 2015, I was saying that Trump lacked both character and competence. Sadly, I was right. But I think what we didn't understand then was how dangerous this combination would become. The party has changed so much. And yes, the people who speak up, and there are too few of us, the people who speak up get pilloried and criticized, or they retire. Just as a reminder, in 2006, a Republican president signed into law an extension of the voting rights bill from 1965, and the vote in the Senate was 97 to nothing.
That's because we
this
wrote
party
it, you
has
dumbass.
changed a lot, and unless it dumps Trump, this party is not a party that I can feel proud of.
Oh, wow. But do you think there's enough residual in the party, though? Because I used to think just getting rid of Trump would do that. But as you see him leave, you see lots of eager people that are willing to jump into his place. So is there such a thing as getting rid of Trump?
Yeah. Well, it's a great question, honestly. And I don't know. Clearly, I didn't predict that this is the way the Republican Party would go. But here's what gives me faith.
God forbid America
frankly,
first,
we need more
right?
of the View and less of politics as
Yeah, no
usual,
kidding.
because when I go out there and talk to people,
In California.
most Americans, honestly, are sick of the toxicity. They're sick of fighting about everything. Most Americans don't agree on everything, but they agree on the most important.
Now, I want you to listen to this. This is what the Republican Party did for 50 years. This is the reason why we have trans testicles now, is because of the feckless Republican Party of Carly Fiorina, and they're getting along to get along. Let's listen.
Important things. And I think if we can get back to problem solving and progress,
let's do that.
and
Progress.
away from politics as it's become the usual, citizens are going to be a lot happier. So I hope so. But, you know,
So where's the toxicity? The toxicity is on the left. I mean, this woman here. I'll tell you, this was. I got into some show fighting, not fighting, but disagreements with Stacey, because Stacey Rush. I mean, at the beginning, and even me at the beginning, I liked Carly Fiorina. She was an IBM CEO, but she came out one time and was talking about how good Islam was. And that got my ears perked up immediately. And then I start looking into it, and she really sucks.
She is the female version of Mitt Romney.
Exactly.
Vulture capitalist.
Exactly.
Let me just straight from she in 2002, Fiorina oversaw what was then the largest tech sector merger in history, in which HP acquired Compaq. The transaction made HP the world's largest seller of personal computers at the time. HP subsequently laid off 30,000 United States employees. And then the thing says,
imagine that.
The number of, and the key word or the key part of that is 30,000 United States employees. And then the next thing says, nonetheless, the number of employees exceeded the pre-merger figure and grew to 150,000 during her tenure. You know where most of that employment went to?
China.
Take a guess.
China.
China. I was going to say, no.
They didn't put that in there, but I know where it wasn't United States employees because they would have put it in there.
No, right.
So she's a piece of crap, just like Mitt Romney's a piece of crap. She may say she's a conservative. She is nothing but a vulture capitalist, somebody who wants to suck on the blood.
Sorry, had to do that. What's on your mind, Marlene?
Okay. Oh, my goodness. Well, I will admit, I think Carly is, I didn't really think too much of her at the start, and obviously she's a piece of work. I'll leave it at that. I could say a lot worse, but she's a piece of work.
So what I want you to do, Marlene, what I'd like you to do, Marlene, is when I'm done talking, I want you to say, "Cold War Radio rocks." Okay, you can do that. So get ready to say it. Say it right now.
Cold War Radio rocks.
All right, just wanted to go ahead. I'm having a little fun. It's Friday. You know, I wanted to use my reverb.
Okay.
Haven't used it for a while.
Hey, why not?
Now everything's working. I mean, when I got on the show, I couldn't hear Jack, and then there was all these echoes. I fixed that. No! And now somebody's calling from Skype. Oh shit! Let me try this. I don't think you guys are going to be able to hear it, but I'll try. Hello. Hello. It is, but I can't hear you on the show. So if you're ready to copy, I'll give you another number to call, okay? 412-206. You got that? 6208. 412-206-6208, because the audience can't hear you right now. So, all right, we'll catch you back there. All right, see ya.
That was interesting.
You got Skype on in the background. You just shut that down. You're in the mountains,
thank you.
man.
All right, so that was a little weird. All right, I'm trying to turn it off now, and I can't seem to.
Moving on here, yes, I agree that Millie is also great.
And get it off that way. Did that work?
You got a problem with Millie, Marlene?
Okay, cancel.
That boy should be. He should go through the military process of the trial, however they do that.
Hold on, guys. Did you hear both sides of that, or just my end of it?
Just your side.
Okay, so he'll call back. I don't know why people do that, man. I mean, I don't have anything out there that still says that that's the number. Well, I mean, I do.
Click.
I know what it is. Skype. When I say it at the beginning, yeah, I got it. It's gone. But I just wanted. I've been wanting to do that because that's like the third or fourth time that's happened to me. And I've been wanting to do that just to see if it would work, because Spreaker is set up with the Skype software so I can hear you, Marlene, and you, Jack. But it's not Skype. It's a different. Anyway, it's weird. But I wanted to see if it worked, and we'll see what happens. So we'll see if the guy calls.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, moving on. I didn't watch all of it because it got a little too technical for me, and I'm going, oh. But I watched about the first maybe hour and a half or so of that Arizona audit thing. And I think in general, I thought they were pretty thorough. They brought out a few things, that there were a lot of errors. However, I was looking at the Epoch Times later because I got bored with it about 3:30 or so. And apparently, they're saying that Biden, goofhead in chief, carried Maricopa County. But like I say, that's just one report, and I just figure,
Well, the only thing I have on that is Patrick Byrne released wording from the executive summary based on the audit. The results of the 2020 election in Arizona should never have been certified. And then breaking, Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich released a statement saying that he will take necessary actions that are supported by evidence and where I have legal authority. So who knows? I don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, I'm at the point now where I don't even really care. I mean, we're already, what are they going to do?
It was something I wanted to watch to say that, yes, I watched some of it and I saw history being made, but I didn't dwell on it all afternoon.
Right. All right, so we're running out of time here. Your final comments, Marlene, or any additional?
Okay, a couple more things and I'll be done here. You were talking about Agenda 21 or 2030, whichever you prefer.
Yeah,
and
Jack
yes,
was.
it is in high gear out here. Apartment, condo type buildings are going up all over town. I mean, it doesn't matter where they are. You don't. If I see a house built, I'd be shocked. I may see duplexes, but no houses.
Do you have out there on the West Coast? I mean, I noticed that my old haunts where I was growing up in Northern Virginia and Prince William County, and also in Harrisonburg, Virginia, by the university area there in JMU, there's a move to build apartments, buildings above food, clothing,
yes,
stuff
exactly.
that's on the base floor, right? The
I
shopping is
understand
right there
completely.
at ground level, and everybody lives above it. So it's going on there too, huh?
Yes, it is. In fact, just down the street from me, there's a brand new apartment building. It's been there about a year-ish. It used to be a church, and then they somebody, I guess the church lost their mortgage or whatever it is, and they since then they've got this 3 or 4 story building, and then they've got room for retail underneath, and they have a restaurant, an old bakery, and then they've got a place where ladies can get their nails done. And
I'll
they're
tell
still
you
looking for
something.
people.
I'll tell you something to look at in those kind of developments,
Okay.
Especially the bigger they are. In other words, the higher they go. Notice that there's no parking.
Right.
Actually, on this one there is, Hutch. There actually is parking.
Okay,
but a lot of it's
the
underground
agenda
parking.
the Agenda 21 projects, there's no parking.
Yeah.
It's walking.
Entire
it's
there's
like
several
you
city
don't have to
blocks
drive.
of no parking. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to drive. You can just come down and walk from place to place.
Or jump on the
bike.
mass transit, right? The unionized mass transit.
How
TSA.
how easily would that be converted into a total control community?
Oh, imagine
right?
that.
Oh, very easily. That place just down the street from me, very easily.
Doesn't it remind you of the old days with the company store?
The ground floor is
the
where
government store.
the government is, and then the people live, or the captives live, above that, right?
At the
You
behest
can't
of the
go-
government.
Right.
So,
All right, Marlene,
I
wrap
don't
it up.
know.
I got another guy on. I got this guy on hold, man. I don't want him to hang up. Hang in there, Idaho.
I just was thinking, if for these next elections, they've got to fix the election integrity. However it's done, get rid of those damn machines if I had my way. And finally, you did look really good yesterday. That was kind of
See,
fun.
now
watching
that's
you.
the second person. Now I got to talk about it. All right, Marlene, thank you very much. And you have a great
welcome,
weekend.
guys.
Say hi to Dave, and we'll talk to you next time. All right.
Thanks,
So
Marlene.
let's go to somewhere around Ketchum, Idaho. And what's your name, sir? What's going on?
Well, hello, my fellow happy cold warriors. This is Bert from Gannett, Idaho.
Say the
near
name again.
Ketchum, Idaho.
Hello.
Bert.
Bert. All right, Bert.
Hello, can you?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Absolutely. We can
All
hear
right.
you. Thanks for
Well,
calling, man.
thought I
And
was
I
calling
appreciate
the-
it. Make sure you write that number down. That Skype number, what that's for is that's a voicemail number that because the majority of people that listen to this program listen to it on a podcast. So they're not listening live. So that number is
That's
for
how
them
I
to be able to
usually
call. Okay, well, then if you wanted to call that number, like after you listen to a podcast that was already recorded earlier, you could call that number and leave a comment, and I'll play it on the next episode. That's what that
I
is,
got
Bert.
lucky you guys are still live.
I know, it was cool. I mean, I heard it gave me a flashback because that's what we used to use.
It's a new experience.
Yeah.
If he's on Spreaker, man, he check out.
Are you in the
join
chat
us
room?
in the chat room? I don't know.
This is the second time I've called in, and I'm glad to talk to you guys.
Are you on the chat room? Are you in the chat room, rather?
No, I'm walking my dog.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I'm just saying, I mean, there's a whole lot of people that are listening that they bullshit back and forth. It's pretty fun.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm so glad to talk to you guys, and I didn't have any idea what you're talking about because I'm walking my dog, and I thought you were done already, but I heard the housing thing, and here I know, where I live at least, they're talking about, there's a lot of things that Marlene was saying. They got retail and offices on the bottom floor, and then on the top floor, they're building penthouses, and they'll build like 7 units with one affordable housing kind of thing.
Oh, you have to add that in there. That has to be there.
That has to be there, yep.
Absolutely.
And I heard the parking situation, and it's the same thing, no parking or minimal parking. But I live in rural Idaho, away from cities.
I was going to say, is there anything other than rural Idaho? I mean, or maybe Boise.
Boise's pretty good size. Ketchum is a ski resort, which is where I live nearby.
Right near the Gold Mine thrift store.
Yes, sir.
I've got a question for our Idaho caller. Now,
all right.
For a long time, we've heard rumors or, people thinking about parts of Oregon, California, and Nevada breaking off and forming their own state. But earlier this year, I saw something where Idaho being, the safe haven part, but the portions of sane Washington State and the portions of sane Oregon want to connect with Idaho and increase the size of that state. Have you heard anything, being somebody that lives in Idaho?
I have heard about that. I live in basically the central part of Idaho, which is a little ways away from the part of Oregon that wants to join us. But I would welcome them because I've been through there. I was born and raised in Oregon and moved to Idaho a long time ago, and now Oregon is like visiting a foreign country. But
it's like my city, Pittsburgh. It's the same way, man. I mean, I know what you mean.
Yeah. But Idaho, I love Idaho, and we're still free here. They're trying, but I don't think they're succeeding much. There's a lot of 2A proponents in Idaho, so we're looking good here. But it's the world is weird, right? So
it is. I mean, I look at the state of Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania has a really, really large population of deer hunters, which is basically snipers. Which, if you add them all together, it's like bigger than any standing army in the country, in the world, rather. Except they try to do this gun grabbing all the time, and it never works. But they still keep trying it, and it's like, no, you don't really understand these people. And then, but they're messing with the culture so bad. These kids, they don't want to kill something to eat it. You know what I mean? I mean, some of these kids are.
Yeah.
I mean, soy milk, really?
Yeah, soy milk. Give me a break.
Or almond milk, or whatever the hell they're talking about. They're nuts.
Almonds don't have boobs. I don't know where they're getting the milk from.
Right, and they're from Jordan. But anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, in Idaho, we're you mentioned I called from Ketchum area, which is true, and Ketchum is in Blaine County, Idaho, which is probably one of the most liberal counties in Idaho. But I'm not liberal, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be calling your show probably.
Right.
And there's a lot of freedom-loving people in this county, even though
God
we
bless you.
tend to vote weird.
I know.
And I'm surrounded by arsenals, and I have my own as well.
Me too, baby.
And if you know how many guns you have, you don't have enough.
That's correct.
So
that's correct.
So,
and don't be buying all. You
so
know,
glad I got-
people kill me. They buy all these ridiculous calibers, man. I mean, what the hell was it? It wasn't a 28 gauge. This guy had a 12 gauge, and a shotgun, and it was like I think it was bigger than a 20 gauge, but smaller than a 12 gauge. It was like a 20-something gauge, and I'm like, it was during the ammo shortage, and I'm talking to this guy. I'm going, the one cool thing about the ammo shortage is I get to see these calibers nobody has. And, man, he went off on me, man. He was like, man, that 28 gauge, that's the best trap gun. I'm like, man, you're nuts. People buy these weapons, and you can't buy ammo for them.
Yeah, there's a lot of specialty weapons out there that's probably the only thing left on the shelf.
Exactly.
And here in Idaho, we definitely are experiencing the ammo shortage
We
like
all are.
everywhere else.
I mean, it doesn't affect me because I was prepared, brother.
So I'm with you there.
I caused
have
the shit.
enough
I
to-
caused it.
I have enough to,
Right. I bought
have
1,000
enough to
rounds of
hold my own for a
5.56 when Clinton was president. I still have half of it. But that
Yeah.
didn't stop me from buying, many more when Obama was in there. I mean, he scared the hell out of me. I got all kind of ammo because of Obama. I'm sure you do too.
And I'm a 45 ACP kind of guy. So I
Me
got
too,
plenty of
brother.
them.
Me too.
So, yeah.
That's my truck pistol right there, and my barroom pistol in my drawer. In my bar.
Before the show, Hutch, I stumbled upon 45 caliber Sweetheart grips from World War II.
Oh, nice!
And what
from your dad?
that was?
Oh, that sounds awesome.
No,
a 1911 kind of thing?
Yeah, the 1911.
Yeah.
I had never seen this before, but a certain amount of troops, they would use plexiglass off of the downed bombers in Europe when they came upon them. Fashion.
Oh, that's cool.
The grips for the 1911 and put their Sweetheart's picture underneath and screw the plexiglass. And I never heard of that until tonight.
There's a whole lot of stories about the 45 like that. One of them is
that's another reason I love this show. It's because of the history.
Oh, thank you. No, we definitely bring that out. That's part of the story. If you look at the
for sure
at the statement on Spreaker on what this show is, that's what it's about. It's about the history because I came across this thing. I used to write into military magazines and they'd publish my stuff all the time, but I remember. I served in the 2nd Infantry Division in Korea from 83 to 85. And when President Clinton was in, after President Bush, the first Bush, there was a period of time where the Democrats were trying to say, all right, man, communism's beat, the Soviet Union's done, we're through. Let's spend all this money on social programs in the United States. And I was like, no, hold on, man. Let's not do that. Let's really not do that. And it was just things like that really made me mad. But with the 45, it was when I was over there, we had to fire. I had 2 45s. I had a 1911 and I had something called an M3, which is, we used to call it a grease gun. And it was a stamped metal submachine gun that fired a 45 ACP round. And the bolt was like an inch. It was huge. It was big around. It was half as big around as a beer can. I mean, this thing was so big, this bolt, that went back, fully automatic. No selector switch. It was fully automatic. And the magazine was like a 20-round or 30-round magazine. It was about 1.5 feet long. And the pistol grip on the weapon had a cap on it. You turned it upside down, opened this cap on the bottom of the pistol grip, and had to pour LSA in there, lubrication small arms, oil. That's how big this damn thing was. And we didn't have any 45 ammo.
Yeah.
So we had to use sub-caliber devices. We took our 1911, took the upper receiver off, and they gave us an upper receiver from a 22, and we had to mount that on our pistol and shot 20. It was terrible, man. I don't know where I started out with that story, but Bert, I'll let you finish it up.
You made it. Well, I really appreciate talking to you guys. I can't believe I got through live. I thought I was just calling to leave a message, and I listen to you guys on the podcast pretty much exclusively because I normally am not home to talk to you live. But I will endeavor to get into the chat room one of these days, and you guys are awesome.
So are you.
And I might start listening to the Wayne Dupree show again because you're on it.
Okay, now that there, you got to watch that one. I mean, I guess you can still listen to it. I don't know, but I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Bert, thank you very much, man. You made my evening.
Yeah, thank you.
And who am I talking? Is this Sal?
No, this is Jack.
Jack.
Friday Night Jack.
Yeah.
Jack, Friday Night Jack from the northern neck of Virginia. My man, the oyster hunter. He's an oyster hunter.
Well, I love all you guys. Marlene, Regina, Vicky, all you guys. And yeah, you guys
outstanding.
are great.
We love you too, man. And make sure you call back again, or at least keep listening.
Yes.
I definitely will do that, and I will spread the word.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
The great state of Idaho.
The great state of Idaho. Some bitch. Man, that was some good stuff right there. I might have to go over a couple minutes because of that. Not much longer though. But wow, that was a good one. I wasn't even really ready for that.
Much longer. Rocky, did you take that? He's taking
my woman's in the other room, man. I got to get out of here. You know what I mean? I mean, she started coming up. You know what's sad? And I never really put two and two together because this camp was rustic as hell when I got it in 2018. I mean, this was a rescue camp. Let's put it that way. And I always thought that she just didn't like it. It was too rustic up here. When she would tell me, no, I can't go because the dog. And I was like, well, bring the dog. We lost our dog last year. Right. And ever since then, she's been up here like every other weekend. Man, that's outstanding. It's great, you know. I mean, because we don't have to worry about Cole anymore, you know. I mean, I miss him, but, you know, it's you don't have to worry about him anymore. So anyway, that was cool with Bert in Idaho.
Nothing like Mama's touch.
No, you're right about that, man. And it's like I told her today.
From a camp to a home, right?
Yeah. No, that's true. She took over my seat and everything. My main seat that I hang out, that's hers now. My ass is out. I'm back in the end of that's all right, though. It's cool. I told her today, I was like, you know, I take a lot less naps when you're up here. But you guys have heard the.
Hey, you're riding your Polaris across trails and all that together. I mean, hey, you'd be smiling ear to ear.
You're damn right, man. I mean, no, that's for real, man. That's
kayaking
serious.
On the river. I mean, come
not
on.
this weekend, but we got the Wait, let me do this correctly. The Pennsylvania State Championship Fishing Tournament, ladies and gentlemen. So that's always cool. Went to Titusville today. We're driving around. But anyway, I want you to check out, you've heard of this woman, this representative, the Honorable Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's out on the steps of the Capitol. And do you remember Representative Dingell from Illinois, I think? He was like 700 years old.
Right.
Drooling out of his
once
nose.
trophy wife is now in his seat, right?
Right. And she's arguing she messed up and started arguing with Marjorie Taylor Greene. And somebody caught it on tape. And that could be good.
Killing a baby up until birth is a lack of civility. It's called murder. Hey, how about the border down there? Lack of civility. How about lack of laws or protecting and upholding our Constitution?
Use respect is the basic thing you're taught in church. Respect your
Taught in
neighbor.
church? Are you kidding me? Try being a Christian and supporting life.
Try being a Christian and try
Support life.
Decently.
Watch your step, lady. You're going to fall down. Control yourself.
Democrats definitely should not quote church. That's not a really good thing to do. What they did is they just passed a bill where they were debating a bill that said that you could murder a baby even during childbirth.
This had to be a
childbirth.
You just talked about the beginning of the show where they're trying. The House passed that thing where the Women's Health Protection Act, right?
Yeah.
218 to 211. This is the House. They're both members of the House, and I can see that they could sell tickets.
I know.
This,
and I didn't really realize, and I'm a happily married man, but I never realized how good looking that Marjorie Taylor Greene is. Right? She looks pretty good.
She's a firebrand. She's new. She's fresh. Dingell.
Old, worn out. Yeah, that's like Jill Biden. That's like Jill Biden.
This is how her husband was in the House in that seat
for 300 years,
20, 30 years.
Yeah, 40, 50
passed
years.
away. Somehow she just slid right in to replace
all
him.
the time. Yep.
That's wrong. We don't need lifelong people, nepotism.
No.
We don't need people related to people that have been serving. If they haven't done a good job, they need to get the hell out and stay the hell out. I mean, you have a Bush right now, the Hispanic Bush, right? Jeb's son.
Go to
He's
hell.
the Hispanic version of Bush that's trying to get into this thing. Don't fall for it.
Don't fall for it at all. You're so right. All right, let's keep our standards high. Jack, we got a little sidetracked. But ladies and gentlemen, your weekly jihad report. 35 jihad attacks, 109 killed, 58 injured, 2 Allahu Akbars, suicide blasts, all occurring in 11 countries. The weekly jihad report atrocity of the week in Davao City. These are some dumbasses right here, by the way. The military is looking at pro-Islamic state militants to blame for the blast that killed a spectator and hurt 7 others during a volleyball game in Datu Piang, Maguinitado, Saturday afternoon. Lieutenant Colonel John Paul Baldemar of the Army's 6th Infantry Division told the Inquirer by phone that members of the LGBT community were playing volleyball when a homemade bomb exploded in their midst around 3:39 p.m. at the municipal covered court near the center of Datu Piang town. Other recent misunderstandings of Islam on the 23rd in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, as I mentioned earlier, ADF Islamists attack a shopping mall, killing 11. On the 19th in Chad, there's an African country as well, jihadists massacre 9 residents at a fishing village. On the 19th in Somalia, another African country, Al-Shabaab plant a bomb at an airport office which kills 1 worker. On the 19th in Pakistan, hardliners fire on a polio team. Don't know what the hell a polio team is. Anyway, killing the guard. On the 18th in the Philippines, I just reported, Islamists throw a bomb into a volleyball match featuring LGBT participants, killing 1. On the 16th in Nigeria, 2 civilians and 16 security personnel are slaughtered when their convoy is ambushed by Islamists. The religion of peace, ladies and gentlemen, or as Mr. J used to say, the religion of loopholes. Or as Mr. J used to also say, the religion of pieces, ladies and gentlemen, one body at a time. Why is that's not working? Work.
Allahu Akbar, Allah.
All right, that never ends, Jack. It just never does. Let's go to winners and losers. Sir, you are up. Go ahead.
My winner, and we discussed this before the show, it's getting very desperately hard to find winners every week in the current state of the United States of America under the creepy Joe administration. But my winner is finally the Arizona audit briefing occurred. We heard what went down, what evidence they found, what materials, what went on, right? I mean, this started months ago, and now we're at the point it's in the hands of Attorney General of Arizona for as far as that state. You have other audits going on. I personally didn't like the drawn out release of this because it was supposed to come out basically a month ago, and then they said, "Oh, COVID, we're putting it back because people had COVID." That didn't fly well with me. To me, that didn't hit right. But that's my winner of the week. So that lets you know the bar is very low.
That's low. We were talking about that before the show.
Winner.
We were talking about that before the show. It's so damn hard to find a winner these days.
Oh, it is. We're waiting.
Yeah, I got a repeat offender myself, but go ahead.
Yeah. My loser is a repeat offender. It's the Biden administration.
Ooh.
Because during the past week, I've heard the Biden administration via its redheaded stepchild, Kawasaki, continue to blame the Trump administration for the failure that happened in Afghanistan, right?
And everything else. I mean, probably blames the Trump administration for his son being a crackhead.
The fiasco that's happening at the border is blamed on. This is the result of the Trump administration's lack of action at the border. And I'm like, wait a minute. No.
Hold up.
President Trump had basically ceased that problem, right? You already had the partnership with Mexico. It's like, hey, you guys need to hold these people. They were holding all of these folks in Mexico and then allowing a proper channel to move people that were seeking to move into this country, right? It was an orderly process forced upon Mexico by President Trump because he didn't play no game with them. But then Biden said,
Go ahead, sorry.
No, it's for them to blame Trump for Biden's failures in Afghanistan, and especially I saw a report or heard a report that the entire Haitian movement under the underpass was blamed on the GOP.
Of course.
Not Trump. The GOP did this.
Yeah. Now, see, they're trying to, because they know they're getting ready to take a serious haircut in 2022. No Democrats are going to win. I mean, that better be what happens.
Yeah.
That better be. Or we're not worth saving if that doesn't happen.
We got to keep doing what we do because the election
That's what we do.
Time is upon us.
That's right.
And that's why this wag the dog, watch the movie. That's exactly what's going on. They don't care. The Saul Alinsky talk.
You're right.
Everything is going on. The coolest thing I can say before handing it back to you is today I saw on YouTube you play some Tom McDonald songs, and there was one that we played about a month and a half ago when it came out, Brainwashed.
Yeah.
And I was just stumbling across YouTube, and then I started seeing on the side, it was like live reaction to Brainwashed by Tom McDonald. And it was some black folks here, and then all of a sudden there was like
I saw those. Yeah.
So I started watching them. And I started feeling hope because the folks that were doing these videos and watching it, they already know they're being lied to. And they're saying, Tom MacDonald speaks facts, talks the truth, and they're worried about his life because they know that there's people in power that would like to snuff out that voice that he has.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about white people. We're talking about folks of color, as the powers that be would like to say. I would say it's just Americans that are waking up and tired and understand that even though they're victims of No Child Left Behind or Common Core curriculum, they know when they're being lied to. And Tom MacDonald is bringing it out. And
he is.
That's hope. That's hope.
No, I agree with you. I really do. I mean, he's and I didn't realize he had so many songs. You know, but my man comes out with like a new song every week.
And he's Canadian. He's from Canada.
Is he?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad he's not my son. I mean, the way I look at him, he looks like shit, man. I mean, he's got all kind of.
No, but he's comfortable being him.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt at all.
And when you listen and watch, he's got one song called White Boy, and there's a whole premise to the video about a classroom. Is like, you know, I came from Canada where the racism aspect isn't so brutal there, but he goes, I came to
that's because there's no brothers there.
But he basically saying this. Hey, don't blame me for something that you know.
No, he's brilliant. He's got it going on. He's definitely got it going on. He's got a and like you said, you're talking about, and what this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is you'll get a couple, 3 hood rats, you know, or rappers or whatever, and analyzing. You know, they play the video, and then they stop it, and they're like, whoa, 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 he's too right. He's spitting truth. You know, beautiful stuff.
I went to say hood rats. I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
That's what I call them. Anyway, no. Winners and losers, it's my turn. My winner is that was like a Friday night thing. It doesn't happen any other time, and I'm probably going to get some hate mail, but okay. My winner today, this week, is Governor Ron DeSantis, and ultimately Gainesville, Florida, city employees. They scored a victory this week after a judge granted a temporary injunction against the city's vaccine mandate. Until Wednesday, Gainesville city employees risked termination if they refused to get vaccinated for the Chinese Wuhan virus, a rule the city commissioners voted for in August 4-3. So by one vote, they voted for people to get poison injected into their body without their consent or lose your job. My loser, Vice President Kamala Harris. She said Friday on ABC's The View that the images of U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents apprehending Haitian migrants on horseback at the U.S.-Mexico border evoked images of slavery. I'm so tired of hearing non-African Americans like Kamala Harris. She's not an African American. Talking about this stuff. I just get sick of it, man. It's so bad. You had Rashida Tlaib out there, a member, an Islamic jihadist member of the squad, talking all kinds of shit about Israel. And there was one GOP guy, one representative that said, you know what? Enough's enough. I don't know if he's Jewish or not. In the article, I couldn't even tell you who this guy is. But he got up on the microphone, and here he goes.
To this gentleman is recognized. Mr. Speaker, the truth has finally come out on the floor of the House of the United States of America. I heard some of my Democratic colleagues stand with me, with Israel, with our ally, to fight terrorism with a defensive weapon system. And what did we just hear? We heard the Democratic Party speak out. We heard right now from my colleague across the aisle with a shocking statement. She opposes this because they have a vocal minority in the majority party that is anti-Israel, that is anti-Semitic, and as Americans, we can never stand for that. I grew up with Holocaust survivors. I grew up with children of Holocaust survivors. Israel has been attacked and attacked and attacked since its inception. As Americans, I beseech you, I reach out to the majority and I say, condemn what we just heard on the floor. Condemn terrorism. This is a defensive weapon system. Stop playing your procedural games. I hear commit, recommit. It was a motion to recommit. You just saw something on this floor I thought I would never see, not only as a member of this House, but as an American. Let us stand with Israel. Let's combat anti-Semitism wherever it is in the world, whether it's in the United States, whether it's from terrorism. I am shocked, Mr. Speaker, with what I just heard. I ask the majority to condemn the comments that were just made by their member. And with that, I yield back. I reserve. I'm sorry.
All right, so some of them go off and some of them don't, man. I don't know. It's
all for the record, right?
Yep, that's what it's for.
Just
The record that nobody reads. You know, that's the thing. You know, these people, they waste so much time. We talked about it earlier. It's just
when the dust settles and the ripples on the water cease, everything's calm.
Damn, you're getting all poetic.
They've all just screwed the American people once again, despite all the grandstanding.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, obviously you heard a couple comments. I'm now a co-host on the Wade Dupree program. It's probably going to increase the people that show up in the chat room. I mean, the audience is just much bigger. I got to give Wayne credit, man. I mean, he, you know, we had some difficulties between us, but you know that's gone. That's done right now. I mean, they were petty, pretty much. And now I was on the first episode on Thursday, and if you go to Rumble, you can find the show on Rumble. Subscribe to the Wayne Dupree program. One of the things Wayne does is puts a lot of rumbles out. So if you get confused when you go on there, look at the length of the clip, and you'll see the ones that are right around an hour. That's the show. Then there's a whole lot of other clips that, you know, support the show. You can also go to Facebook and look, you know, follow the Wayne Dupree Show on there. And there's a chat room on there. Wayne Dupree, the live, Facebook Live. And he's starting to mess around with YouTube, but not as much anymore. But anyway, I had a great time, and it was nice. I hadn't done that in a long time. His co-host that runs the show when he's not there, because he's a little under the weather right now. He's got some flu-like symptoms, and he's recovering from that. I'm not sure. He had a COVID test, but I'm not sure what happened with that, because I don't live on social media the way I used to. I just don't. I don't have time for it, man. I'm out there on my Polaris with my wife. We're out there doing stuff, so I don't live on. Yeah,
Hutch B.
The real Hutch B. That's right. On Twitter. Yeah, I'm back, man. I'm back. They didn't kick me out yet either, but I only have 100-some followers. So please follow me, damn it. I got to get them thousands of followers back so they can like throw me off again. But anyway, it's a good show. It's only an hour long, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Friday is on censored.tv, and I'm having a good time over there, and we'll see what happens. But Jack, that's about the end of the line for this evening, man. So your final comments and how people get in touch with you. how people
You
can
can
get
find
in
me.
touch with you. I mean, I like blended
Yeah.
that all together.
You can find me hanging around the VFW and the Spreaker chat room Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the Cold War Radio Show. Kudos to branching out and getting some use out of those cameras that you bought.
Right.
That's,
Actually, Ward
that's
still has the big one. I'm just using the webcam. Ward's sitting over there. He got the massive camera. We're going to do that one day. We're going to activate that thing. But anyway, go ahead.
You go ahead with the camera thing. I'm not going to ever insult the audience with, hey, I think you got one picture of me on somewhere on the website.
It's on SteelCityResistance.com, Cold War Radio crew, the CWR crew. And it's a fine picture with a fine-looking dog, too.
But, it's Friday night. I always enjoy spending the evening with you and the listeners and the callers, and have a new caller from Idaho chime in tonight. I mean, that it makes it all worthwhile to me.
Me too.
We're all here.
I got to tell you,
thing.
Friday nights are a little special, Jack. I don't want to make your head explode, but I'm just saying. I always like Friday nights. I like them all, but Friday night's special.
Yeah. We can be a little less serious and have a little bit more fun because, Monday and Wednesday, when I listen to the shows, you're deadly serious, bringing the truth and all that. And, besides every now and then, some guy named Igor may pop in on Monday. But Fridays, everyone that's listening, we need to get some endorphin release, have a little humor, a joke a little bit about things, understand that everything's serious around us, but unless we remain healthy and vibrant and relevant, it doesn't make a difference, if they come and try to take us out. We need to be ready and willing to fight. And the way we do that is by staying healthy, staying happy, laughing in their face, and getting those endorphins going. And I just enjoyed being able to do that here Friday with you.
Damn, man. Well said. Well said. Did you guys all write that down? I mean, that was really well said, Jack. I got to admit that was good. And like I said, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're out here. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 12 p.m. I mean, it's early, noon. Check me out. Check the Wayne Dupree show. Don't check me out. Check the Wayne Dupree show out, and we'll see how that works. And wow, I don't know what else to say, man. Thank you. And really, I want to send you guys off with this. And I said it on Thursday's show. I actually said two things. One that I missed, and it's probably not appropriate to say it right now because I'm trying to ship the show off into the Neverlands, but. Do you know that last week, on Thursday, actually, the president of South Korea traveled to Hawaii with the remains of several Korean War KIAs, and the Biden administration didn't send anybody. They didn't send Kamala Harris. They didn't send Jen Kawasaki. They didn't send the Assistant Undersecretary for American Indian Affairs. They didn't send anybody, man.
The repatriated remains of
United
States veterans killed in Korea, delivered by the leader,
the president
of South Korea.
Yeah. That's how miserable these bastards are, man.
Yeah.
They hate you. They freaking hate you, and you better understand that. You better understand that because it's almost fighting time, man. We're not there yet. But, man, can you imagine that, Jack? Half of the people,
media,
half of our KIAs in Korea died from freezing to death.
Yes.
I mean, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I shouldn't have ended it like that. I shouldn't have. but I remembered I forgot to say that about a half hour ago. And I had to put it out there.
That should burn in your memory.
Yeah.
This administration's respect.
All of them. Every Democrat.
Just
in America. That's the way they feel. And if they don't, they're too stupid to know what they're voting for.
That disrespected the remains of our soldiers and also just disrespected the leaders of South Korea, which to me should be considered a number one strategic ally.
Absolutely. A success story.
So, yeah. And
you look at your most successful smartphone, and it's an iPhone. You look at the number 2 successful iPhone or smartphone, and it's Korean. It's Korean.
Galaxy.
Samsung.
And you think about that on the same aspect that Joe Biden, he went before the United Nations and basically bowed down, bended knee to who? The communist China.
He did. He gave his son, his only surviving son, to them. Anyway, Jack, it's all right. We're going to be okay, man, because we're stronger than all this.
Everyone, have a blessed weekend. Hutch, you have a wonderful weekend with your wife up in your new home.
You have a wonderful weekend with your wife, too, man.
Yes. Yeah, I'm nursing her to health. She's got a little bit of a cold.
Is she going to be all right?
Not COVID.
Okay, good.
She's fine.
All right.
She got tested. We're good.
That's the end of this, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for letting us into your life for a couple hours. One for Rocky, because Rocky always maintains the chat room. Here you go, brother. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys listening to the show. I'm trying to figure out if I can do this. Got to do something for my man over here. He ain't going to be able to hear it. If you Jack, if you want to hear it, you're going to have to listen to the show, not the Uber conference, because I've put it up on the producer mode of the Spreaker broadcasters. So, Tom McDonald, ladies and gentlemen.
Half the country fell asleep, but they scream woke. We're distracted by vaccines and TV shows, politics, celebrity gossip, popular neat quotes. Black lives, white lives, which lives mean most? We only dedicate one day to remember our fallen soldiers, the men and women who died young. But if you come out the closet as Caitlyn Jenner, you're a hero and you get a whole Pride Month. The most dangerous pandemic's propaganda from these clowns. Only mask that's gonna save us is duct tape on their mouths. Don't speak. We don't need to defund police, need to defund the media who lies through their teeth like Big Pharma doesn't cure you, dog, cause every patient that gets cured is a customer lost. And big oil runs the world, the only wars that get fought are with the countries who have natural resources they want. Heard him claiming if a white man braids his hair and likes rap, he's appropriating culture. But if a white man acts too white, he's white trash, he's a racist, he's a bigot, he's a monster. Let's just have the conversation. Not every liberal is dumb, not all Republicans are racist. The government wants everybody fighting with their neighbors cause they know that if we get along, we'll probably go against them. They can't stop us, cause we're ready to fight, trying to brainwash us. But we won't let freedom die, the whole world's brainwashed. Everybody pick a team, start a riot in the streets. The whole world's brainwashed. It's us against them, it ain't you against me. How did monkeys become people and people turned into sheep? They put fluoride in the water that's keeping us all asleep. Claim they want what's best for us, I find it hard to believe, cause they've been selling us cigarettes since we was 18. Fake news, fake woke, distract and divide. You're either right or you're left, or you're black or you're white. Big tech don't need a microchip to hack in your life, cause the phone inside your pocket is a tracking device. And I don't know what I'm more sick of, rappers or Joe Biden looking like he ate 100 Xanax for dinner. Cause censoring the president and kicking him off Twitter is a bigger threat to freedom than foreign ballistic missiles. You don't trust the police or the government, but you want people giving up their right to own a firearm. Why would you be comfortable if police and the government the only people on the planet with the right to buy a gun? White privilege getting amplified to reinforce division. It convinces white people that they're favored by their skin, and black people getting angry cause they're told they're treated different. So the conflict is between us and never with the system. Let's just have the conversation. Not every liberal is dumb, not all Republicans are racist. The government wants everybody fighting with their neighbors cause they know that if we get along, we'll probably go against them. They can't stop us, cause we're ready to fight, trying to brainwash us. But we won't let freedom die, the whole world's brainwashed. Everybody pick a team, start a riot in the streets. The whole world's brainwashed. It's us against them, it ain't you against me. Step 1, train the people only to consume. Step 2, infiltrate adults with the news. Step 3, indoctrinate the children through the schools and the music and the apps on the phones that they use. Step 4, separate the right from the left. Step 5, separate the white from the black. Step 6, separate the rich from the poor. Use religion and equality to separate them more. Step 7, fabricate a problem, made a lie. Step 8, put it on the news every night. Step 9, when people start to fight and divide, take control. This is called situational design. They can't stop us, cause we're ready to fight, trying to brainwash us. But we won't let freedom die, the whole world's brainwashed. Everybody pick a team, start a riot in the streets. The whole world's brainwashed. It's us against them, it ain't you against me.
All right, that's all. I love you guys. Thanks for listening.